Back on the Headbangers Ball. We didn't talk about this last Saturday because we didn't know, but we're very glad that we've got Vince Neil as a guest on the Headbangers Ball. Welcome to the show.
Hey,
haven't
thanks.
seen you for a long time. Haven't had you on the show for a while. Now, we've seen the interviews and we've all heard about all the stuff with the Mötley breakup, so I don't really want to dwell on that. I think I'd rather spend time talking about the new stuff.
Great, man.
Which is okay. And tell me about the new record. You've got the record out, Exposed.
That's it.
And now tell me about the band members, first of all.
Well, actually, Steve Stevens, is playing guitar, from Billy Idol,
Right.
and Michael Jackson, and about everybody else on the planet. And Vic Fox from Enough's Enough is playing drums. Robbie Crane playing bass, who was just a buddy. And Dave Marshall, who was a lead guitar player for Fiona. And,
now, were you like very instrumental in picking the members? I mean, did you kind of pick and choose? Because I can imagine anybody that's a musician in a band would like to play with you. You know, I mean, everybody would say, well, I want to be in Vince's band. So did you get to, kind of pick and choose the people? Or?
Well, I mean, Billy Idol hooked me up with Steve, because I'd never met Steve before. And so he called, because Steve lives here in New York City, and I live in LA. And so he called Steve up for me. And Steve called me up, and we talked. The next day he was in LA. And with Vic, let's see, he was in the You're Invited But Your Friend Can't Come video, and he ended up just staying. Mm-hmm. And with Robbie, it was just through friends, and that was it. Everything just kind of fell into place.
Now, are these the same guys that worked on the recording of the record?
Yep, same guys.
Now, going into the studio this time as a solo artist now, obviously you have more say when you're going into things.
Yeah.
Now, tell me some of the other differences being in the studio as Vince Neil as opposed to being in the studio as Mötley.
Well, geez, I mean, for one thing, I was there all the time. It was great. Just from everything from just the sound to obviously since you co-write all the songs, you have a certain vision of how you want the stuff to sound, and everybody was thinking alike, and so it was just very easy. Everything ran really smoothly, and it was a lot of fun.
Well, we're going to be back talking to Vince Neil, and we're also going to have a world premiere of his video Can't Have Your Cake, and all that stuff happens when the Headbangers Ball continues. Welcome back to the Headbangers Ball. Our special guest this evening, Vince Neil. We're about to world premiere the video for Can't Have Your Cake. But before we play that, I still want to talk a little bit about the record. You talked about co-writing the songs. You were very instrumental with the writing of just about every one of these songs.
Yeah,
right?
me and Steve, or me and Jack Blaze and Tommy Shaw wrote a couple of tunes, and that was it. We just got together and just wrote and wrote and wrote. Because I got a 24-track studio in the house, so made it a little easier. So you just throw down ideas, and some stuff worked, some stuff didn't, and we rehearsed for a few months. And what we would do is we would write like 5 songs, and then we'd go in and demo them, see if they worked or not, and then we'd write 5 more, go back and demo them. So by the time we got into to record the record, everybody was ready, and everybody had worked together then. So that's what made everything like really, really smooth in the studio.
Is it like kind of like a new spark playing like, does it feel like the whole energy of being in a new band again, starting over?
Oh, yeah.
Or does it just feel like you guys have been together for a long time and real tighter?
No, I mean, the band is real tight, because the musicianship is just phenomenal. But it's just really fun to watch, like Robbie, who's, just like 23 or something like that, just experience the whole thing, and I remember back when I was on my first tour, some of the the feelings that you're going through, just like the wildness and like, oh, look at this is a great concert.
So all the stuff that you've done for 10 years, it's like these guys have never done, so you have to do it again with them now.
Yeah, but it's fun.
Get them into all new sorts kinds of trouble.
Yeah.
Tell me about the video we're about to world premiere.
Well, the video is Can't Have Your Cake. It was directed by David Mallet. Who did all the AC/DC stuff, and actually did the new one for AC/DC, the Big Gun. And it stars, the band. And there's like little cutaway things which stars Pam Anderson, from Baywatch.
Sure.
Yeah. And I cast my son in it, because what it is like flashbacks of my life when I was young. Pam plays my sister, and my son Neil plays me. And so there's some really funny parts.
Very cool.
It's pretty cool.
Well, let's take a look at it. This is a world premiere. This is Can't Have Your Cake from Vince Neil. Welcome back to the Headbangers Ball. Special guest, Vince Neil. And you're currently on the road with Van Halen.
Yeah.
Which I haven't seen the show yet, but from what I've been hearing of people that have gone to the show, say it's a killer package.
That's great.
But it does put you in the position, again, of being like an opening band.
Yeah, but you know what? It's where we need to be right now. You know, I mean, we haven't, these are the first times we ever played in front of people, period. And so it's, you know, it's opening, but, you know, Van Halen's given us an hour to play, you know, which is really nice. And everything's great. This is where we need to be right now. And we just are building at that.
Now, being a live show, I mean, are a lot of people probably going there and you're playing some Mötley songs?
Yeah,
are you
we did
still
a few
doing one?
tunes.
Because I imagine there's a lot of fans that still want to hear Vince Neil doing a couple of those Mötley songs.
Yeah, it's no, you know, like when you go see Ozzy, you want to hear some old Black Sabbath tunes, and even with Van Halen, they play some of their, you know,
that's true,
their old tunes. So, you know, yeah, of course, come see me.
From what I've heard when people go to the show, you know, playing with Van Halen, it's like sometimes you'd see an opening band that's down here and Van Halen's up there, but I heard just the energy level for the whole show is just, it's a great package.
Yeah, it really is. You know, all the shows have, you know, are basically sold out, you know, throughout the rest of the tour already. And, you know, it's an outdoor concert tour. There's no indoor stuff. So it's just like playing, you know, backyard parties with all your buddies, you know, throughout the country, which is really cool.
Now, what are you going to do after these Van Halen shows?
Well, see, we finish up with Van Halen first week of September, and then we go to Japan for a couple weeks. And then, tentatively, in October, we'll head out with Coverdale Page.
So,
maybe. So, well, we'll
one
see.
thing I got to ask you, because I got so jealous when you were doing this, and I'm sure you probably had to stop with the touring, when you were doing the auto racing, because that's something I've always wanted to do. And I went to your Long Beach Grand Prix race, and are you getting to do any of that? I mean, did you have to put that aside? Imagine with the touring.
Yeah, I had to put it
and
aside,
stuff.
you know, because the IndyCar schedule goes from April to October, and I was right in the middle of doing the record, and with the touring, I just didn't have the time.
Because that was pretty, for people that don't know, you were racing Indy Lights.
Indy Lights,
which is not, I mean, that's a real race car. That's not a celebrity race. That's like the real stuff.
The real deal, yeah.
And that was pretty impressive that you were racing in those things.
Yeah, I'm going to race next season, definitely. Well, I can't say definitely, but depending on my scheduling of touring. But, you know, I still sponsor the IndyCar, which is out and doing pretty good.
Very cool.
So I'm always involved in it.
Remember, the Vince Neil record is out. It's called Exposed. Vince Neil is currently opening up for Van Halen, and then after the Van Halen show, hopefully some other stuff.
That's right. We'll be let's see, on Sunday we'll be in Baltimore at the Merriweather something.
If you live in Baltimore, you know, okay?
That's right.
And if you just look in your papers when that show's coming to your town, you'll definitely want to check it out. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks,
Good luck
buddy.
with everything. Still to come, we've got the Galactic Cowboys. We've also got more killer videos. Stay tuned.